Hello, I'm Tina Games, back again with the Voter Information Committee, joined by my colleague, Emily Milan. And we are here this time interviewing the second of the uncontested candidates for Monomoy Regional School Committee. And with us right now, we've got Sharon Stout. Sharon, welcome. And Emily, I'll let you take the first question.
Great. Thanks, Sharon, for coming to meet with us today. I appreciate it.
Thank you for doing this.
We'd like to know a little bit about why you're running for office.
All right, the first thing about why I'm running for office is because I happen to be born into a family similar to Steve, who valued civic involvement and volunteerism. Secondly, I worked as a counselor and a teacher for decades in the schools. I love children, and I recognize that the children here are the future of this town and of our country. So I want to make sure they're very well prepared for college or other continuing education, for the workforce, and to be productive members of society. And fourth, I grew up in Chatham, but I lived in Harwich for over 40 years. And so this is my home. And I want to ensure that we give our children the best education that we can afford.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Sharon. And you know, you've already touched on some of your experience and skills, but I'm curious, is this your second, third term?
Well, I started in the last year of the Harwich School Committee. So I have several years of experience on the school committee. And so having worked in Chatham and in the Harwich schools before I even came on the school committee. But while on the school committee, I've gotten to learn a lot more. I thought I would know much more starting out than I actually did. So I know a lot about the inner workings now of the school committee. But I'm on several subcommittees, and one of them is the policy subcommittee, which is an important subcommittee for the school committee. So I'm aware of the successes and the challenges of the school. As I said before, I was on the school committee. I was a teacher and a counselor. In elementary, middle, and high school levels, I taught regular ed students and special ed students. So I'm aware of what a good school looks like, and I'm aware of the general challenges that teachers and students have. Additionally, I raised my children here. They went to the Harwich schools, and my grandchildren are now attending the Monomoy schools. So I can certainly relate to the challenges and, you know, the change in the school times and all that the parents have. And finally, as a member of the community and a taxpayer, I recognize the challenges that we have as a town.
And thank you for answering that, because with the experience and the skills, I think it's nice. Particularly, we have two uncontested races, with Steve having fresh eyes and you coming from it as an incumbent. So I think that's a nice blend.
It is. It's a very nice blend.
Yeah, Emily, you've got the next question.
So you've touched on a few things already that you're interested in focusing on during this term, but do you have a main goal in mind, something that you'd like to accomplish?
Well, I have a few ideas. Right now on the policy subcommittee, we're writing the wellness policy, and that includes social emotional, that includes physical activity, includes nutrition, and so the social emotion is going to be a lot longer in the making because that's new. But we're trying to tweak the other areas, and so physical activity, my goal is to make sure that we keep that as an integral part of the schools. Our kids get less physical activity, except the ones in sports that are out everywhere, every night. So that's very important. But you may or may not be aware that we have kids in our school who are homeless. We have many kids that they do not make ends meet in their family. And school nutrition is either the only nutrition or the primary nutrition these kids get. Even in most average homes, the sitting down to the table together and having the various food groups and home-cooked meals is very seldom used. So it puts more pressure on the school breakfast and lunch programs, except we're fairly limited by money because we're trying to make that self-supporting, but we can look at that and try to shape that into being more nutrition dense. Additionally, well, the schools right now are doing a fabulous job on the AP advanced placement classes. There are more of those than we used to have, and I'm very supportive of continuing support for both honors classes and AP classes for the students that are willing and able to challenge themselves for those courses. I'd like to continue to develop more of that. There's more need, I feel, in looking at skills that students need for life. When I was out campaigning and getting my signatures needed to get on the ballot, at least a third of the people signed, not just who signed, but who stopped to talk with me, spoke about how we used to have government full-time as a requirement for graduation, and now it's an elective. And they are very much wanting to do that, and kind of the motivation of this is that, well, I guess to me the thing that impressed me the most is that the people who stopped identified themselves as both Republican and Democrat, and this was a unifying value in our town. So I think that that's something I have to work more with the members of the school committee and the administration on. And I also liked what Steve had to say about the exit interviews. That's something I've thought about, but not recently. So I'm only one of the 8 members of the school committee, but I would do my best to make you proud, and you can feel free to email me at my address at the school committee website if you have any comments or questions.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sharon. We really appreciate you being with us today and taking this time. And again, that was Sharon Stout, who is running for re-election on the Monomoy Regional School Committee. And thank you again, Sharon. And we'll be right back with another interview.